So we've looked at analog input, analog output, and we've used some sensors, we've used some potentiometers, we've fitted some LEDs. All that's really good and fun. But all of this is slowly building up to this idea of what goes on your computer screen, right? When we're talking about LEDs, these are little elements of lit color, and we can think of them as analogous to, monochrome pixels on our computer monitor. Now, in your kit, you've got one other kind of LED that doesn't just have two legs or a single color attached to it. It's this one right here. It's got four legs. It's got a big dome. It looks bigger. It's got this sort of like milky-ish color. This is a tricolor LED. And it's got four legs in here because one of them corresponds to ground, and that's the long one. This is something that's called a common cathode LED. That means that everything connects to ground. There's also common anode ones, but you've got a common cathode one. Fits with our mental model of what we've been doing anyhow. So this long leg on this LED connects to ground, and then the other ones correspond to red, green, and blue elements. And they all fit inside of one die, and so you could do color mixing on this. So this one LED is similar to the pixels on your computer monitor. It's just that on your computer monitor, you've got millions of them. Here you just have one. Hopefully you can appreciate all the work that goes on behind the scenes getting your computer to work once you see what goes into this. This is, as I said, the long leg goes to ground, and then the other ones go into, are controlled by pins off of the microcontroller through resistors. So I'm going to plug this back in here, and then I'm going to talk real briefly. Pop. Just goes in like that. You can see also in the illustration here how that's set up, right? Fritzing doesn't really have a perfect way of doing this, so that's why it looks a little bit awkward. But the pins here, each one of these legs corresponds to a red, green, or blue element, and I know how they look because I checked out the data sheet for this. Data sheet, as we talked about in class, is something that will tell you the electrical specs of your components, right? So this is the one that you've got inside of your kit. I'll put it in the comments. All LEDs are really going to have this. You can kind of, guess your way through if you don't have something like this. So it's okay. You can see here it's got some stuff for about forward voltage. That's the voltage that's needed in order to actually get something working. You can see here that each of these, the red, green, and blue, they all have different voltages. So you'll actually see that like the green is a little bit brighter than the others. Also, it's just perceptually we see green a little bit more than others too. But this is really all the information that you would need in order to get it going. Also on this data sheet, the really helpful thing here is this schematic that shows me what pin is what. And so I can see here the long one is common, that's ground. And then these are red, green, and blue. And I can see that because here's the R, here's the G, and here's the B, right? With that long one being common. So that's how these are wired up. That's how I know what's what. And so on my microcontroller, when I look at this, right, we can see that pin 2 is red, pin 3 is green, and pin 4 is blue, connected through these LEDs, or through these, resistors to the LED legs. So my code for just testing this out and making sure I've got it right, I've got this code right here that does a simple color test, and I'm just using digital write for this. So you can see here red is 4, green is 3, blue is 2. Sorry, I had that reversed. And then here I'm setting the pin modes red is an output, green is an output, blue is an output. And then I wrote my own function here called color test, and this just cycles through the colors real quickly. So I'm using digital write here. You could also use analog write, and in the next example that I show you in this video, we'll do just that. But for here, it's we're just going to use red, green, blue. So we're going to go red, and then we're going to turn off, and that'll be on, and then we turn the red off, and we turn the green pin on, then we turn the green pin off, and we turn the blue pin on, then we turn the blue pin off for just a moment, and then we turn all three on, so you can see what happens when all three are on. You get this kind of whitish, not entirely white color. But it points to how we can do color mixing, right? So I'm going to plug this in, and red, green, blue, white. That went by kind of quick, but you can see that's exactly, it says exactly what it says on the tin here, right? So I'm going to reset it, and we'll see. It goes red, green, blue, and then white. Hey, just what I wanted it to do in the code. Now, the other nice thing that you can do with these, and where they become really fun, is like color mixing, right? And so you can use that analog write, and you can get different brightnesses out of each of these elements, and then use that to create new colors or mix colors, right? So in this example here, what I've got going on, and I'll just upload this so it fades around in the background and we can jam out to that. We've got red, green, blue pins, and then I've got some values here for increment or decrement, so it's either going to get brighter or dimmer depending on the direction that it's going. And then some initial values here. So you can see I've got red, green, blue, and this is, if I turn that off, is it any better? This LED is really bright underneath the camera, which is why it's like blasting everything out. Maybe I can just, there we go. If I turn it, so you can't see this. That's kind of fun. Well, maybe you can. It's but it's definitely changing colors. If you upload this code to your own microcontroller, you'll see it. It's just that it's so bright right now, perceptually for the camera, that it's just overwhelming the sensor. But in any case, so what we've got here is red, green, blue, and we've got some initial values for each of these. I could change this around, right? So maybe like we start out at full red and full green, and maybe we'll turn blue off, right? But in any case, these are our initial values, right? We set the pin modes. Then I'm doing that color test thing again, just to make sure that I know what's going on with each of these. And so in the color test, you can see I changed everything inside of here to analog write as opposed to digital write, just so you can see that you can do that. Now inside of the loop here, where I actually have stuff going on now, I'm saying write the color values: red pin, red val; green pin, green val; blue pin, blue val. And then I'm saying check to see if the brightness is each the upper or lower limit. So see if this red, green, blue val is either if it's either above or equal to 255. If so, reverse direction. If it's less than or equal to 0, reverse direction, right? And then here we just increment or decrement the values. Then there's a slight delay, and we wind up getting this like lovely color mixing here, right? I actually think that what I really want to do, looking at this, is we'll set blue to 1 since it's going down. Oh yeah, we'll do this, right? So 255, 0. I kind of like just made some things up here. So this is, and I'm still sort of like making things up. But, if I wanted to, I could have these fade faster or slower based off of changing these values. I could have these start at random positions. But ultimately, at the end of the day, all I'm doing is I'm just sending these values somewhere between 0 and 255, just like we would with P5JS, right? So if we're saying background 255, 255, 255, that's white. But if we're saying background, 160, 0, 220, we're going to get kind of like a purplish color, right? And same sort of thing here. So this is just to say that there's a lot of different things that you can do with color with these. You can have a lot of fun mixing them. You could hook up knobs and sensors to these, so you could start to change various things. It's really up to you what you want to do with this. So try mixing some colors around, see what you get out of it. It's kind of fun. It's pretty groovy and neat, and yeah, it's you can build your own lava lamp. You could do something where you do like different colors indicate different things, but you only have one element here, so you don't have multiples. Whole bunch of different stuff you can do. So experiment with this, try it out, see what you make.